Well, it is a school district in complete disarray. DeKalb County Schools has been plagued with a declining attendance and failing test scores for years. But the board there holds on to hope their new superintendent can be the solution to all their problems. Atlanta News First reporter Yasmina Alston takes us through how we ended up here and what we know about the man who's looking likely to take over. Yasmina.
The DeKalb County Board of Education has picked the sole finalist for the superintendent position. He has over 2 decades of experience in educational leadership and is currently a superintendent. Dr. Devin Horton may be the next DeKalb County School Superintendent, a position that has been held by interim Dr. Vasan Tinsley, who came out of retirement for the job last April when the school board suddenly fired Cheryl Watson Harris. You'll remember that firing happened not long after students exposed dilapidated conditions inside Druid Hills High School. Just last month, we told you all immediate repairs were completed at the school. There's been a search for the next superintendent since. Back in December, the school board heard from parents on what they want to see in a candidate.
To be honest, I really feel like a good superintendent is going to make sure that everyone that's underneath him is being accountable.
According to the school district, Dr. Horton is the superintendent of Evanston-Skokie School District 65 and previously held positions including chief of schools at Jefferson County Public Schools in Kentucky. His work also includes roles at Chicago Public Schools. Board Chair Dijon DaCosta Sr. calling their selection of sole finalist great progress. And Dr. Horton will meet with community members next week through town hall meetings and through school visits. Yasmina Alston for Atlanta News First.